and welcome back to the Golden Goal podcast. We're going to wrap up our Champions League places today.
Is it Arsenal?
Is it who? Well, it's some team in North London.
It's not Arsenal.
And it's not Arsenal.
It's the white side.
Oh my goodness.
Scandalous.
We're going to get...
Arsenal have lost their fourth spot.
We're going to get so much fucking shit for this video.
Our fourth place team is the mighty Spurs.
Tottenham Hotspur. I think, like, I'm going to come out and say this, just, you know what, we've already fucked ourselves up. I might as well just dig us deeper. I think they're the best team in North London right now.
I think they're the most organised team in the Premier League, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're the most prepared team in the Premier League. I just think they haven't really added that much transfer-wise. Because their team is just, just solid.
Two new players. Do you want to
discuss two players with me?
Yeah, yeah, alright. That's kind of...
Nah, that's kind of the point in the video.
Yeah, I was going to say, nah, mate.
Alright, let's move on to fifth place.
Yeah, Victor Wanyama is a very good signing, in my opinion.
I was quite shocked. And they got him quite cheaply as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost like a Kante kind of signing, isn't he?
I think that's all that was missing. I think their weakest link was like the Dembele kind of like that midfielder kind of role, which they missed. And I think because they did let in a few goals last season, they're definitely a lot better going up forward than they were in defence. So they shored that up pretty quickly.
Indeed. And Victor Janssen, who is a bit of an unknown quantity, really.
He scored like 20 odd goals last season.
27.
And he's how old? 22, 23?
Yeah, he's not very old. He's not 24.
So it's quite exciting time. So they're still sticking with this young, hungry, talented team, which I love. I love that about Tottenham. Were like my favourite team to watch last season. Yeah, I think up until the last month and a half, they're the best team in the Premier League.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, Leicester were in the league for long parts of the time, and some of it was luck, some of it was just sheer determination. But we were talking about just class and they just didn't have any weaknesses. They just played as one big unit. Yeah. Something that Arsenal haven't done in years. And being an Arsenal fan, like looking across North London and seeing that with young players like Dyer and Ali and
fucking Kane,
and they proved themselves that they weren't just one season wonders as well. Well, Harry Kane did.
Yeah, exactly.
Scoring about 23, 24 goals last season. Absolutely incredible.
I was so impressed with them last season. You know what, Pochettino, like, I remember before last season, there were Tottenham fans saying we have faith in Pochettino, and I remember thinking, like, why? Like, he's got you nowhere. You're kind of a bit of a nothing team. Like, you don't really have that much about you, really, apart from Harry Kane the season before. But now I see it. I see what he's been doing, what he's been building, and I'm very impressed.
You know what? He hasn't just been building a starting 11. He's been building a team.
Squad.
He's been building a club that Tottenham fans can be proud of. The amount of English talent that is bleeding through their veins is incredible. And like we said earlier about Man City, where they don't have any local lads, they don't really have any like young players kind of like coming through for years and years and years. Tottenham would just epitomise that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think they've got a fantastic goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, Hugo Lloris is fantastic.
The defence is absolutely solid. The midfield is young, vibrant, quick, and they've got a goal scorer.
They care. The players care.
They care about the manager. They care about the club. Yeah. They're playing for the badge on the front of the shirts rather than the name behind it.
And White Hart Lane, like we were saying about the Etihad as well, White Hart Lane is intimidating to go to because their fans are passionate and they are loud, and they are behind their team, which I think is really important.
I think Sir Alex Ferguson said that the manager he admires the most and sees a lot of himself in is Pochettino. Yeah. And the fact that he has got that good equilibrium between youth and he makes the right signings. I mean, he signed two players that were both going to slot in perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
He looked at the two weaknesses from last season, which was their midfield and like going up front at certain points, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to change this. And he did it, early on in the season as well. Yeah,
he gave them time to settle in. And do you know what? The Janssen deal would have been done earlier if there wasn't just so much fucking faffing about by AZ Alkmaar.
Yeah, asking for more money.
Asking for more money and whatever.
And the thing is, like, it's a club that you would love to play for as a kid. Like, as a kid, like, watching Tottenham play, some of the displays last season were just just the perfect balance. Just so well organised, very military in the way they played, but just that exciting
I
element.
think you've said that about every team so far.
Very military, very military, very military, very military. But no, they're well organised. I liked it.
Yeah, the only problem that I think, well, not the only problem. We'll get onto weaknesses later, but I don't think they're going to do great in the Champions League.
Especially as they're not playing the home games at White Hart Lane.
No.
They're playing at Wembley, which I think is an absolute
That's a joke.
disgrace. Especially today, the season. I know this is how to get to Wembley, but home games are so pivotal.
Yeah.
In the Champions League when it comes to Champions League matches. It's difficult to win away in the Champions League, regardless of who you're playing.
Yeah.
You could be playing like a team from Russia, Copenhagen or someone like that, and that's difficult to play away in those kind of conditions. And you'd be happy with a point in most circumstances.
Copenhagen aren't Russian.
Denmark. But like that,
Yeah.
and then you really need your home ground. I just don't understand how they're going to do that well without it. Really,
Yeah.
I don't understand the decision at all, because if they got past the group stages and they advanced, even if they got to the quarterfinals and semi-finals, that's just such a massive lift to the players.
Oh,
It gives
yeah.
them such good experience.
See, I'm not sure if they'll even get through the group stages.
I'm not sure at all. I think they got a difficult group as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, I would be happy. I know that Tottenham fans maybe would be a bit disgruntled by Pochettino doing this, but I would quite like Pochettino to just kind of treat Champions League games as a bit of a throwaway. Because I think, if say like you just use young players in the Champions League just for like experience of big games or whatever, I think that personally would be the best way to go about it. Just purely because, like you say, they don't actually have their home ground right now. So they're basically they're playing all their games either away or on neutral ground, which that's a tough ask, especially when you're also then playing Premier League games and Capital One Cup games and FA Cup games.
It's going to be a lot more difficult next season. That's why I don't think they're going to finish in the top three. I think there's a lot to ask. I think it's a massive step up. Like last season, there was very little expectations. The only real expectation they had was finishing top four. But now I think a few of the Tottenham fans and the players will be thinking, we came so close last season. People are going to expect us to win a title now.
Yeah.
So when expectations are boosted, it just puts added pressure onto the players, and it's like very young players as well.
Yeah.
A very like youthful team. I know they have got that experience, but the majority of the players that are playing well at the moment are the youngsters.
Yes.
And that's a lot to ask, and they're very inexperienced.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I don't know whether you've seen what their pre-season has been like. Their results-wise, they haven't had a great pre-season. But I mean, how much does that really count for?
I mean, we first Louis Van Gaal campaign, we're beating everyone in pre-season.
Oh,
we
yeah.
Lose our first match 2-1 away to Swansea. Pre-season does mean nothing. It's just about getting back to fitness.
Yeah.
But I guess psychologically, if you have had a good pre-season,
it's obviously a positive.
Obviously, you want to win your matches. Whenever you play a football match, it's better to win than it is to lose. But I wouldn't look too much into that.
Yeah.
And their first match against Everton, they played okay.
Yeah, they played
I think
decently.
Everton are going to have a good season. We'll come on to them when we talk about them later on in the league, further down the league table. But they did well to get. And what I was worried about last season was I was worried about the Harry Kane effect, because he obviously had a very good first season at Tottenham.
Yeah.
But he continued his form. I know he didn't have the best Euros. That's another worry, is the Tottenham boys didn't have the best Euros.
Do you know what? We'll come on to this later, because I have that as one of their main weaknesses. But let's start with the strengths anyway. Start with the strengths, just for, positive vibes and all that.
One of the strengths is they will know what to expect now. They've
Yeah.
had their first title challenge at the club, so they know what to expect. They've tasted. They were so close. I thought with like 6-7 games to go, I honestly thought Tottenham were going to pip it.
Yeah.
Leicester to the league, and it just goes to show they have that strength, they have that desire, they have the talent there,
Yes.
and they know that they're talented. They're good enough to challenge for the title.
Yeah.
All their young players are a year older, a year more mature,
Yeah.
and I think that hopefully that will come out in their games, and hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes. They learn not to like melt away.
Yeah,
and
for
they can
sure.
keep going, because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, I agree. I mean, a marathon and not a sprint, but I think that, to be honest, when it comes to them needing to have that kind of sprinting intensity. They do have that because they do have energy and passion and pressing. Like they're able to go at teams and really fucking take a game to them, which I think is really important because you didn't really see that with you know the year that Chelsea won the league. I mean, I don't know, that year was such a damp squid for English football because you didn't really have a team like Tottenham that really went at teams and went for hard pressing and tackling and whatever. Because even Chelsea didn't really do that.
No. They were by far the most entertaining team to watch last season.
Yeah, between them and Leicester.
Between them and Leicester, definitely. For different reasons, I'd
Yeah.
say. And what I quite like about this whole Tottenham side is they haven't chopped and changed that much from last season.
That's so important.
So they've got the foundations there.
Yeah.
And this is like, I'd say this is like, is it the third season under Pochettino?
Yes,
So
I
this
believe
is the third season.
I believe
They've
so.
got better each season under him. In the last 4 years, they've been improving. And in previous seasons, you'd have a Tottenham side where they'd have like a Gareth Bale and a Modric, and you had that one star player. All the teams on kind of like a consistent level.
Yeah.
All of them are like 8 out of 10 players.
Yeah.
There's no one bright spark, and like the rest of them are kind of like average.
Yeah.
They're all good. They're all on the same level. They're all on the same wavelength.
Because you get pundits who try to convince you about how like, oh, Dele Alli is a step above all the rest, or Harry Kane is one level above the rest of them. I don't think they are. I think they're all roughly of similar ability, really.
And the fact that they're all similar age, and all the signings Tottenham made were like 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Yes.
They've all come up together.
Yeah.
No other side has done that and have had that stability and that security. Look how many signings and like ins and outs Manchester United, Manchester City, and Liverpool have made.
Yeah.
Tottenham have just remained consistent.
Yeah.
Even Chelsea have sold quite a couple of players.
Yeah, exactly.
While Tottenham have kind of kept hold of their main big players. And yeah, they'll be raring to go.
Exactly.
I mean, last season everyone was saying, "Oh well, Tottenham are going to be really like upset with finishing below Arsenal." But at the end of the day, Arsenal were aiming for the league last season. They didn't get it, and Tottenham were aiming for top 4, and they got that.
Yeah, definitely.
They weren't the third best team in that league that season.
I mean, if you had offered Tottenham fans 4th place
they
at the
would have
start of
grabbed
the season,
it from you.
they would have bitten your head off to take it, and they finished 3rd. So, I mean, when we say who's the best club in North London, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, that Arsenal finished above Tottenham. I don't think that matters at all, because look at how Arsenal fans feel about last season, where they were all disgruntled and pissed off about how badly they played, but then Tottenham fans are absolutely buzzing. Who do you think's enjoying themselves more?
Exactly, and that's another.
And it's not because Tottenham are a smaller club than Arsenal. It's because Tottenham were playing better than Arsenal.
And that's the difference between Tottenham and Arsenal. We'll come on to that when we look at Arsenal. Is their fans are completely behind the team, and there is a bloody great atmosphere at White Hart Lane, like you said earlier. Whereas at Arsenal, they're disgruntled, like you said, they're disenchanted, they're angry. What are you going to want if you're a player? If you're an Arsenal player, it's quite scary playing in front of. Well, I don't know because the atmosphere isn't that great. Well, but it's scary considering the fans are turning their back on the manager. They don't believe in the manager.
Yeah, they don't believe in anyone really.
Exactly. Whereas the Tottenham fans and Tottenham players really believe in Pochettino.
Yeah, even if they don't really trust in oh my god, what's the owner called?
I don't know the owner of Tottenham.
Oh, he's a real stingy cunt. Oh my god, I can't remember his name. But Tottenham fans aren't a massive fan of him and how he goes about things for the most part, I don't think. But they believe in their manager, and more importantly, I think they believe in their players, because that is because you look at Arsenal and you go, well, they don't really have faith in their players to do the business, whereas Tottenham fans would probably you could take Tottenham away to like Barca and their fans would be like, I'm excited. Whereas Arsenal fans would be like, we're going to get battered.
Yeah, there's optimism.
Okay, so we've talked about their strengths, but I do think, do you know what? There's one more thing that you might not agree with me here. I personally think the fact that Tottenham had such a shit end to the last season will actually do them really good this season, because what that shows them is that they're capable of tiring out, and it shows where their problems are to Pochettino.
So it exposes them in a way.
Yes, which is good as well, because it's right at the end of last season, which gives them all of pre-season to work on it. Which I think is like, if Tottenham had just carried on going and then won the league, and then this season they just tired out halfway through the season, that their fans would be so annoyed. They'd be like, well, fuck, why did we not do it, kind of thing. Whereas now, I think Pochettino can now understand, like, this team is capable of tiring out if we keep on playing this way every single game. So
it's like the manager's learning as well. Like, he's a young
exactly.
manager.
Well, obviously, yeah, and I mean, you need to learn. Every team has weaknesses. Like, you've got to learn what those weaknesses are to then accommodate for them in a way.
Yeah, it just really does remind me of, like, when Manchester United had those young players, and when Sir Alex Ferguson was a relatively young manager, just like they're growing and learning together.
Exactly.
And I'm just so happy that, like, the Tottenham fans were happy and, like, didn't seem too bothered by coming third.
Yeah.
In relation to Arsenal, of course they'd want to finish above Arsenal, but it's not about that, is it?
No.
They seem generally delighted the way they lost 5-1 to Newcastle last game of the season, but they were, like, still applauding the players off the pitch.
Exactly.
Not turning their back on the team. That's the sort of what you need your fans behind you to win the league.
Exactly.
Every single team that has won the league has always had their fans behind them.
Exactly.
You can't win if the fans are against you.
Exactly.
Should we go on to weaknesses now, mate?
Yeah. I mean, it's always scary when you've had a season of success, when it's your first season of success in such a long time, because there is always the risk of second season syndrome, where just the expectations are too high and they might just crumble under the pressure.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's just like a psychological problem because of the young heads.
Yeah.
Even though, like we said, like, they've learned together and there's a great atmosphere, psychologically, I know Arsenal finishing above Tottenham, it doesn't mean anything. It means diddly squat, and they know, everyone knows, as a neutral point of fans, we know that Tottenham are a better team. But psychologically, it's a bit like, oh well, we did finish third when we were the second best team. We did have that dip in form when it mattered the most.
Yeah.
Is that going to stick in the player's head? Because it's all about, like, short-term memory and stuff, and they're going to remember that last part of the season. That's going to hurt them the most.
Yeah.
And it's whether or not they come out all guns blazing this season and go, you know what, we did do fantastically.
Yeah.
We did achieve.
And we're capable of more.
Exactly.
Which they are. They are capable of. To be honest, I'm not being funny. I honestly think that I probably would have said that Tottenham probably will finish second if it wasn't for the fact that they're not in their stadium. That they're not in White Hart Lane. Do you know what? I think is such a big thing, because, like I said earlier, they're going to be playing. How long are they in Wembley for? Are they in there for the whole season?
I think is it only for Champions League, or is it because the stadium's getting refurbished, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure on the whole situation about that.
Sure, not 1,000,000% sure on the situation.
But I personally think that if they do have to play, if they're playing Premier League games in White Hart Lane, they probably could finish second, in my opinion. I don't think they'll get above Chelsea, but I think they could definitely finish second, which is an improvement on last season. But if they're playing in Wembley during their Premier League games, that's only playing away and neutral grounds, which that's a tough ask, especially for such a young team as well. You know.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that my weakness is I hope they don't replicate Arsenal with the whole stadium business. Focus so much on the foundations and, like, lose that atmosphere, lose that sense of cohesion. Because remember when Arsenal used to play at Highbury, like, the players would literally be within touching distance of the fans, and it would create an intimidating kind of feel to it. I just don't want them to lose that. They need to invest in their squad and invest in their youth. The stadium's irrelevant. They've already got a really, really nice stadium there.
Exactly.
With a great atmosphere, and I don't want that to be like a distraction from
Exactly.
what's happening on the pitch.
That's very true. I completely agree with you there. Also, it depends how they approach the Champions League as well, because as I said earlier, they did tire out towards the end of last season. Imagine that with also additional Champions League games.
But I guess they had Europa last season, didn't they?
Yeah, but like,
I don't think as much heart goes into the Europa League when
No.
it comes to English clubs.
no,
is it?
it's not. Is it like? I'm annoyed that people don't take the Europa League that seriously.
I think other countries do. I just think it's just our.
Do you reckon it's just
Yeah.
England?
I think we just because England has so many games as it is.
Yeah, true.
That's why international players get tired out because we have the Carling Cup, the FA Cup, and we don't have a Christmas break.
Oh, the Carling Cup.
League Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I do get worried about that. I do worry that they're almost like a kind of like a rocket. Like they just go out there, big
Yeah.
explosions, but it just lasts. It doesn't have the duration to it.
No.
It's attractive kind of football, and I think if I was a neutral like yourself, if I was a neutral, I'd want Tottenham to win the league out of the 6 teams.
Yeah.
Or 7 teams that could potentially win it this season.
Yeah.
Because I like the fact they've got a lot of English players. I like the football they play, and I really, really, really rate their manager.
Yeah. That's true. Do you have any more weaknesses, by the way?
No, I don't.
Well, I think the Euro 2016 campaign is going to be an issue.
Do you think it's going to be?
Well, I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I think that if it is an issue, that will be huge
it's
for
gonna be
Tottenham.
like a monkey on its back because none of those, apart from Dyer, none of those players played brilliantly.
Well, think about the players that are English in that side that are in key positions for them. That's Kyle Walker, their first team right back. Danny Rose, their first team left back. You have Eric Dyer, who's their starting CDM / centre mid.
Yeah,
Dele Alli, who's their instrumental cam. And then you've got Harry Kane, who's their focal point striker.
And it's just like you think, because I've got a feeling that the England players are going to get really severely treated badly. Are going to be like, and if they're going to grounds and they're getting booed by opposition fans, being young, because that's happened before. Do you remember when England came back from the World Cup 2010?
Oh,
they got
yeah.
booed. Like got booed for the first 5-6 games. And that can have an effect on players. It can either work for them and they're like, well, I'm going to prove to you that I'm good enough. Or it can work against them. It can get them down.
Yeah.
They need to forget about those Euros. That's irrelevant. All those Tottenham players in their squad were young.
Yeah.
They were not to blame for
And
that.
some of them were completely stitched up, like Harry Kane.
Yeah, and Walker played well.
We said
Dyer.
Walker and Rose. To be honest, the only players in that squad
Dyer.
really that impressed us. Oh no, 5 of the players that impressed us. No. 3 of the 5 players that impressed us
Yeah.
were at Tottenham. So
And Harry Kane was stitched up taking corners. Like that's not his fault.
no, yeah, that's completely
everyone
not his
rates you
fault.
now. Like we all know you're not a one-season wonder.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. Like Harry Kane had the pressure last season, where everyone was talking about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, well he's not going to replicate the form he had last
Yeah.
season." And I remember him starting off really slowly, but he got slowly into it.
yeah,
And
he eased
scored
himself
24,
in.
25 goals again.
Yeah, that's him really impressive, and that bodes well for this season as well. It's just whether the rest of them as well can also step up their game.
I for one hope so.
I really hope so.
As a it'd be interesting to ask you this as a neutral
Yeah.
point of view, and you're looking at all the teams that could potentially win the league. Which team? I know you're probably going to say Leicester, but what team would you like to see win the league?
Just purely for the fact that I know that Leicester would be happy with just getting European football again. I really do. I do think Tottenham.
And who would you least like to see win it?
You know the answer. We'll get onto it another time. We'll get onto it in another preview. And let's just chat a bit about Pochettino a bit more, because I'm such a fan of him.
I think he's the most consistent manager and the safest option in the Premier League.
It's for sure. I mean, do you remember he was linked to the job at Manchester United when Louis van Gaal left?
I loved him at Manchester United.
Yeah.
But then I was like, as a Manchester United fan, as it pains me to say it, why would he leave Tottenham to go to Manchester United?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just too much of a risk. Like he's building the foundations of something very special at that club. And he's got so much time with those players. His age as well. He must only be like 50 odd.
Yeah, he's not very old.
He's a young manager. why would you leave that for a club that could potentially be amazing or could potentially capitulate?
Yeah.
Like, you've got security at Tottenham.
Exactly.
Of all the top teams, Tottenham have got the most security at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they have that identity.
It's because they believe in them.
Yeah.
They believe in the manager and the players, so they're willing to give them time.
And I'm glad that he's getting time, and I can
Yeah,
honestly
same.
see him being Tottenham
Well,
manager
he
for
got
the next 5-6
like
years.
he got 2 seasons really of kind of boring, blunt football because he was building what he has now.
Just
So
goes to show that patience does.
patience does pay off in football. Patience does pay off in football.
And for me, if Manchester United don't win the league, I would like to see Tottenham lift the cup.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Although it would be very interesting to see how he now deals with the competition, because obviously, I mean, I don't know about you. I personally don't think last season really anyone was threatening that Tottenham team apart from Leicester. Really.
No, well, the league, all the other teams are getting better. Manchester United are getting
That's
better.
what I mean.
Manchester City and Liverpool. It's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Talking to one of my friends, Tottenham friends, and he was just saying, look, last season was probably the best opportunity we'll have of winning the league in the next 5 years, because he knows the two Manchester clubs are going to get better.
Yeah.
Chelsea under Conte. I mean, Chelsea can't do any worse than last season.
No.
So yeah, but who knows? Anything can happen. I mean, they are outsiders, Tottenham, in my opinion. But it wouldn't be the biggest surprise ever if they were to win the league.
There are certainly more surprising top clubs.
Yeah.
Like in the league that if they won the league, you'd be like, how the fuck has that happened?
Exactly.
Whereas with Tottenham, you'd be like, do you know what? Like, yeah, that could probably happen. I could it's like I could see it happening, if that makes sense. Rather than, I don't know, if you said to me like, fucking Everton were gonna win the league, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, I think that's all we have to say on Tottenham.
What about player to watch?
Oh yeah, player to watch, of course. I personally think that my player to watch would be probably one of Danny Rose or Eric Dyer.
See, mine's Eric Dyer.
Yours is Eric Dyer.
He was one of the best and very few bright sparks in the Euros, and I just like the way he played. I think he's good at dead ball specialist. I think he's just come out. He's a bit of a fighter, and he does wear his heart on his sleeve, and he's a Tottenham boy, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to see him in that heart of midfield.
I mean, I agree with you there completely, and for the same reasons, really. I mean, I just think that he's a good, solid player in the middle of the pitch who can just get forward, but then also track back.
I like the fact that he just does the game so well and so subtly that he doesn't make the headlines.
No.
But he's like...
He's so important,
unsung hero.
Yeah. He's so important to that team. Like, it's kind of like Busquets, where he doesn't really do much, really. But he's so important.
I'd say similar to Carrick as well.
Yeah, and Michael Carrick.
If he used to stay at this Tottenham side and then have good success, win a couple of FA Cups, and he retires there, it was only when he's retired and he's not there that you'll realise how much he implemented and how much he...
It's a bit like Pirlo. Like, I feel like people didn't rate Pirlo back when he was actually playing as much as they rate him now.
Because he's not going to make the headlines, but he does his job efficiently.
Exactly.
He's an efficient player. Anyway, should we wrap that up then?
I just wanted to speak a little bit about Danny Rose.
Yeah.
I love Danny Rose, and the reason that I love Danny Rose is because I feel like he has been waiting for someone to have faith in him, because he is the kind of left back that some managers don't like. Well, I don't really tend to like these kind of fullbacks where they just bomb forward a lot. I don't like them, but I think he was just waiting for a manager to have faith in him, and he's found him in Pochettino, and he's absolutely resurged. I mean, before at Tottenham, and you said, oh, Danny Rose is going to be your starting left back and he's going to be a key part of your team, they would have laughed at you a few years ago.
I think this time last season, if you looked at the Tottenham team on paper and you would say point out the weakness,
Yeah.
it would have been him.
Yeah, it would have been Danny Rose.
And
now look at him.
he's one of the strong points.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's just how I look at Danny Rose. I personally think under Pochettino, he is an absolutely new player. So, players to watch out for me, Danny Rose and definitely Eric Dyer. Oh, that was fun. Okay, that was fun. Although I have a feeling that this episode isn't going to go down that well.
Well, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for listening.
If you like the fact that Tottenham have stolen Arsenal's top 4 spot in our predictions, give it a like.
Give us a like.
And
go tweet this at Arsenal Fan TV.
comment in the... Not the...
Just comment down below.
Don't
comment in the description, please.
Don't comment in the description, please. On who you think is going to finish 5th.
Comment down below and let us know what your Premier League predictions are. We want to hear them because we want to see how ours match up to yours, because we're probably going to look like absolute morons at the end of the season.
I can't wait until we do this.
And
like
we're going to listen back to this at the end of the season and be like, what the fuck were we doing? Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Like the video and subscribe for more football content. We'll be coming back at you. Europa League places next. That'll be interesting.
See you later.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye.